Starving children rescued from a lice-infested home. Their parents now facing serious child cruelty charges. How long had it been going on?
Tonight, we take a look at how gun bills have changed here at the Georgia Capitol.
The proof is in the house. The huge way a teen was thanked for a sweet gesture inside a Waffle House.
Live from Atlanta, 11Alive at 5 starts now.
And we begin with some breaking news, and it is good news for anyone in DeKalb County. Within just the last 20 minutes, DeKalb County lifted that boil water advisory. It has been in place since this week's massive water main break. Everyone, therefore, in the county can go back to using their water as normal. Repairs to that 48-inch main off Buford Highway were completed 24 hours ahead of schedule today. One of the other big stories we're following for you, a newborn found on a front porch in Fulton County during a time when the temperatures were hovering around freezing. The family who discovered the baby were taken totally by surprise, and they were even more shocked to learn it was a 14-year-old daughter, their 14-year-old daughter, who had given birth to the child, totally unaware she was even pregnant.
11Alive's Latasha Givens is live outside Grady Hospital right now on this Friday afternoon, where the baby and the teen are being treated. Latasha, how are both of them doing? Are they okay?
Well, Jeff and Melissa, we're happy to report. Police tell us that baby is doing just fine despite being left in those frigid temperatures overnight. Now, we started covering this story as police were investigating how the baby ended up on that front porch, but then the case took a shocking turn once the family realized the baby was not a stranger left at their doorstep, but a relative born inside their own home. While everyone else living on Leisure Lane was inside with the heat turned on, police say at this home, a newborn baby was left alone on this front porch. It was about 32 degrees. So cold, Ron Wright brought his plants indoors.
Anybody do something like that's nuts.
I did see the police last night, and I was like, dang, what's going on out there?
Police say around 3:30 a.m., someone who lives inside the home called police after discovering a baby on the front porch. Investigators say the baby is the child of a 14-year-old girl who also lives inside the home. They say the young girl delivered the baby inside, then set the newborn on the front porch. Investigators say when the family called police, they had no idea where the baby came from. The family told police they didn't know the teenager was even pregnant. Nicole Gillenwater lives directly across the street.
I just feel bad for her to be in that predicament, to feel like she had to leave that baby outside. I would have brought the baby over here. The baby could have just stayed with me.
Did you see And police tell us that 14-year-old mother will not face any charges. And we asked them if it had to do with her age or the surrounding circumstances. We couldn't get a definitive answer on that, but they do tell us DFACS is investigating this incident. Live in Atlanta, I'm Latasha Givens, 11Alive News.
And in 2015, a little girl was abandoned on a doorstep in Atlanta. The child became known as Baby Harlan after the street where she was abandoned. The co-founders of Hope Box say thousands of children are abandoned each year across the United States, and that is the reason why they have created the nonprofit to provide a safe, warm place staffed with medical professionals 24/7 so anyone can drop off a baby, and there are no questions asked, never. She gained her wings and flew to heaven. That is the message from the mother of a 7-year-old girl who died today after she was injured in a car accident in Noonan.
So many of you have sent your well wishes to the family after Aubrey Kinney was put on life support back in December. She and her mother were both injured when the car they were in was hit by an oncoming vehicle. If you would like to send condolences to the family, 11alive.com. It's where we have provided a link to the family's Facebook page.
2 parents from Hall County now arrested and charged with cruelty to their own children, accused of starving them, keeping them out of school, and then forcing them to live in squalid conditions in a house that was full of lice. Investigators believe it had been going on for months at least. 11Alive's John Shurik has this awful story all new tonight from Hall County.
The parents now facing child cruelty charges here at Hall County Superior Court, accused of depriving their own children, allowing them to suffer at home. Investigators say at their home north of Gainesville, the 3 children, a 6-year-old and 2 9-year-olds, were starving. According to the sheriff's office, when DFACS workers saw the children in the home late last year, the children were so malnourished they needed medical treatment. Their home, according to investigators, had a severe lice infestation. On Wednesday, the sheriff's office arrested the parents, 31-year-old Jessica Dean London and 30-year-old David Ricky London, accused of child cruelty that goes back to August at least, maybe earlier, according to investigators. And the children were not attending school, investigators say. Did anyone in the neighborhood notice anything at all that was not right?
I mean, I've seen them outside playing.
Neighbor Lynn Griffin says no one had any idea.
They were good people.
DFACS removed the children from the home. The DA's office is now investigating the case. We were not able to reach the parents for comment. They're now out of jail on an $11,000 bond each and allowed only supervised visits with their children. At Hall County Superior Court, John Sherrick, 11 Alive News.
New tonight, a woman is under arrest after a man was killed inside a Decatur home. The 31-year-old's body was found at a house on Sapphire Court. That was around noon today. Police are not saying what the relationship was between the suspect and the victim. Make sure you stay with us at 11alive.com for any updates to this story.
A Cobb County woman will spend life in prison after pleading guilty but mentally ill today. This is related to the murder of her estranged daughter-in-law. Prosecutors say June 2016, Elizabeth Wall was supposed to take her grandchildren swimming. Instead, she took them to her daughter-in-law's home in Powder Springs, had them sit in a car while she shot and killed their mother. This is the correct image to share with you for the story. Investigators are saying they found Wall had searched online about mental disorders, murder-suicides, and wrongful death liability. The 35-year-old Jenna Wall was a kindergarten teacher at Kemp Elementary School at the time she was separated from her husband, who is the defendant's son. Tonight, we are getting our first look at 3 men accused of kidnapping an officer, sparking a wild police chase in Marietta. Corey Moody, Isaiah Moody, and Walter Gadsden Jr. They're all facing charges. They're accused of fleeing from that traffic stop yesterday. We brought it to you at this hour, that story. The officer trapped inside the car in the front seat. Police were able to catch up with the suspects about a mile later after they crashed into a muddy embankment. Police say the suspects, they're all gang members from Massachusetts.
Well, we started with freezing temperatures this morning, and temperatures pretty much staying below average all day, but changes, they are a-coming. Meteorologist Samantha Moore tracking some weekend rain, a chance of storms. It is the same old as we get to Saturday and Sunday.
I know last week we had a nice little respite, didn't we? But yeah, if we have the rain we're expecting this weekend, that would be 5 out of 6 weekends that have been wet, and many of them stormy. And it all seems to come on Sunday morning, unfortunately, and that's the timing this time around as well. So we're looking at the wind starting to shift here, and that means temperatures won't be as cold because we were down below freezing this morning, down to 30 at the airport, and we're already starting to see the atmosphere warm up a little bit. The wind shifting out of the south, so the moisture is going up as well. So with the temperatures on the rise and the moisture on the rise, it's kind of setting the stage for potential storms as we head in through the weekend, and a storm still really yet to form will be moving on in. So tonight will be the nicest part of the weekend. It'll be pretty splendid out there this evening. Still a little on the cool side, but if you grab a jacket before you head out the door, it'll be nice and dry, a little breezy at times. We've had gusts up to 20 miles per hour within the last hour at the airport, and temperatures will be dropping down into the mid-40s by midnight. So it will be a little chilly if you're out on the town, but for the most part, this is going to be the best part of the weekend. And then as you head into Saturday, those scattered showers moving in, the atmosphere moistening up a bit, and then that front moving in as we head into Sunday. And that's when we have the best chance for storms. Most of those will likely come in the morning. Now, the Storm Prediction Center out of Norman, Oklahoma, they usually give us our chances for convective activity, for storm potential, showing that we have a chance for general thunderstorms tomorrow. So along with our showers, we could have a rumble of thunder or two. We're not expecting any damaging winds out of any storms tomorrow. The chances go up a little bit for that on Sunday, even though the Storm Prediction Center still just has us in widespread chance for general thunderstorms. But we'll start to see those changes happening as we head into late Saturday night and into Sunday. And there is a bit of potential that we could have some strong storms shape up just in time to kind of put a damper on all of our Sunday activities. So coming up, we'll time it out hour by hour and let you know when to expect the most uncomfortable weather, shall we say.
Samantha, thank you. We'll see you in a few minutes. A gun bill now advancing through the Georgia state legislature, but unlike the high-profile campus carry bill of last year, it's a measure that would actually restrict gun ownership, and it may represent a pivot by otherwise pro-gun lawmakers. 11 Alive's Doug Richards has more on what it means and what it may mean in the days and weeks ahead.
Anybody buying a gun in Georgia is supposed to undergo a background check. Aside from felony convictions, that database includes the names of people with mental health issues if they've been involuntarily committed to an institution. And it would disqualify the buyer from getting a gun, except there's a loophole.
In Georgia, we were just purging all those names off the background check database after 5 years.
Which means people 6 years out of an involuntary commitment could pass the background check and get a gun. Senator Elena Parent introduced a bill to eliminate that loophole, and it's sailing through the Capitol with the backing of Second Amendment enthusiasts like Alan Powell.
Just cleaning up the finer points of things is a lot of times what ensures the Second Amendment rights just as much as the ability to buy and to own and to carry.
Parent's bill is one of two somewhat restrictive gun bills that have advanced in this legislative session so far this year. Another would make it illegal for people to sell a gun to a convicted felon. Meantime, bills that expand gun rights in the spirit of last year's campus carry bill have mostly gone nowhere. But don't read too much into that.
I wouldn't think it's a wholesale change in Georgia's approach to weapons. Not at all. It just makes sense to do this.
Yet a bill to allow gun owners to carry handguns without a permit has gone nowhere.
I've probably got a laundry list of some things that need to be dealt with.
Gun rights backers may have hit the pause button in this year's legislature, but both sides expect that pause to be only temporary. At the Capitol, Doug Richards, 11Alive News.
We are following some breaking news at the Capitol with the state Senator David Schaefer facing sexual harassment accusations. The Republican denies the allegations. We will hear his exclusive interview with Doug Richards. That is coming up in about 15 minutes. Now, the complaint comes as qualifying ends today for the primary election in May. Schaefer is one of 5 candidates in the race for lieutenant governor, along with fellow Republicans Jeff Duncan and Rick Jeffries, Sarah Riggs Amico, and Triana Arnold James. They're also running on the Democratic ticket. In the race for Georgia's governor, we have a total of 9 candidates, 7 of them Republicans. That includes Casey Cagle, Eddie Hayes, Hunter Hill, Brian Kemp, Clay Tips, Mark Urbach, and Michael Williams. On the Democratic side, Stacey Abrams and Stacey Evans. On the federal level, nearly every Georgia U.S. representative is facing opposition. That includes Congresswoman Karen Handel, who won the 6th district seat in a really intense runoff last summer against Jon Ossoff. The only unopposed representative in the May primary, that is Congressman John Lewis.
President Trump's decision to accept an invitation from the North Korean leader now drawing praise and criticism in equal parts. We are live in Washington. We have both sides now.
Plus, more than 500,000 people watched this video. An abused dog struggling to be consoled. Tonight, some great news about the dog and the dog's fate.